In today's video, we are going to be talking about everything that you need to know about the iPhone 15 Pro. To start this video off, because of course, street photography is the basis of this channel, we're going to be taking the GoPro around Toronto and doing some street photography with the iPhone in order to show you truly what this phone can do. So if you are debating about upgrading to the new iPhone 15 Pro, or are wanting to get the most out of your phone camera with the best settings and optimizing for all of that, then this is the video for you, because I've had this thing pretty much since it's come out and I've learned a few things that I want to show you. So with that, let's jump on into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brock Wonder. I am a social media strategist and content creator based in Toronto. And on this channel, we talk about all of the things that you need to know on how to live life more creatively. Now, I started my social media marketing business back in 2021. And the primary thing I was doing when I first started out was shooting photos and videos. And I bought the Sony A1 at the time as my first camera. And I had the iPhone 13 Pro as well, kicking things off. And I can honestly say that this new iPhone is one of the best camera apps I think I've been able to use on a smartphone. But I recently put up a street photo set up on my Instagram feed, and a lot of you were saying that you didn't actually believe me that it was taken with a phone, or was really impressed that it was iPhone photography to begin with. Bringing us to the first part of today's video, which is how do you get the most out of your phone? What camera app should you be using, and how do you actually go about using it? Well, my general advice to every content creator is to stick with your native camera app on the iPhone. Especially if you're a new content creator, don't worry about third-party apps for now, because the native camera app pretty much has 99% of everything that you need. But if you're an experienced content creator, it's worth looking at specialty apps like the Moment camera app. And that's why the first thing we're gonna do is walk through the native camera app so that you can learn exactly how to get the most out of your phone's existing capabilities without downloading those extra apps. The first and most intuitive part about the iPhone is navigating between the different options. If you just swipe left or right, you'll be able to get over to the different options available to you. To zoom in or out, you can pinch on the screen or tap on the zoom optical options. Personally, I don't pinch and zoom. I literally just tap on the zoom option that I think is best for me. This way I know exactly what my focal lengths are and how the camera is going to be using the focal lengths that I'm telling it to, rather than being at risk of digital cropping, especially if I'm using the wide lens to then zoom in all of the way and there's some potential quality loss. The coolest part though, especially as a street photographer, is the new focal length options. When you use the 1x zoom, you get the ability to change that zoom to a 35, a 28 mil, or a 24 mil. And you just tap and it'll automatically set those focal lengths. Especially for street photography or lifestyle photography, I'm generally sitting at 35 millimeters. And that is the best way to just get a consistent look and feel with your photos. But I will say I've noticed that the 24 millimeter is probably the highest quality of those options. That's because the biggest thing to note is that when you're shooting at 1x, your phone will be using its 48 megapixel cropped sensor. And if you want to get some extra photo controls, swiping up will simply reveal what extra options are available to you. Here you can play with your flash mode, disabling your night mode, toggling different options with your aspect ratios and exposures if you actually need to, and of course like enabling your timer or other photographic styles. And if you've seen those dark and moody Instagram reels that are super popular lately, the way that you want to get those is actually by adjusting your exposure, and the cool and easy way to actually do that is to hold in on your cropped aspect ratio on your phone, and then you can lower or raise the sun in order to fix and lock the exposure setting to basically underexpose consistently and get that moody black look. This is called exposure compensation. You also are given the option for a macro toggle on the left for whenever your phone is actually put in the position that you can enter macro mode. This way it just makes it that much easier to actually go about doing. Now, the biggest debate about your photos is should you shoot in JPEG or RAW? And if you're a regular person that doesn't really want to spend time editing, by all means, JPEG is the way to go. But I exclusively shoot my photos in RAW pretty much all of the time, unless it's like a selfie or like something quick that I know I'm not really gonna care about, I'll shoot in JPEG. But if it's like a really cool sunrise, or there's like something interesting going on, or I'm doing street photography with my iPhone, or shooting specifically iPhone portraiture for a client, then then I'm shooting RAW and it's gonna get edited, and I actually recommend everybody shoots their photos in RAW. It's just a lot more information and data that the files will actually give you so that you can color correct or sharpen your photos or just give it a lot more of a stylistic look, and even apply presets easier than if you were to shoot JPEG and apply a preset, because you're just gonna end up crunching the colors and different compensation values. And at the top right of your camera app, you'll be able to enable and disable that. But generally, I would say to keep it enabled. Same thing goes in video mode, except for the difference being there is a ProRes log option. And for videos, pretty much everything works the same. The difference is that in the top right, you have the ability to change from 4K to 1080 or change your frame rates and adjust for what it is you might be looking for. But more on that at the end of today's video. Step 2, camera settings. What are the best photo camera settings for your iPhone 15 Pro? First thing we're gonna do is click on Formats and toggle Pro RAW and Resolution Control, giving us more control over how we edit our photos and the ability to unlock that 48 megapixel sensor on the main camera lens. Next thing, we're gonna go over to High Efficiency and Most Compatible. Generally, most compatible is better if you're shooting JPEGs. Then we're gonna hop on over to preserve settings, and we're gonna toggle Pro RAW and Resolution Control. I also like to go back and turn the grid on. This way it helps me line up my compositions a little bit better. And I turn off prioritize faster shooting. This way I get the best image quality possible on my iPhone, even though it might slow down how many photos I can take as quick as I wanna press shutter. And when it comes to preserve settings, this is a very important piece. It's annoying to spend time setting up your phone constantly, so you want to make sure that you're leaving on the features that you know you're going to be actively using over and over again when you open up the camera app. This is very handy when you're doing run and gun shooting like street photography. Bringing us to part B. What are the best video settings for your iPhone 15 Pro? Keep things simple. 4K 24 FPS, enhanced stabilization on, and HDR off. Keep your lock camera on. This way you don't get any automatic switches with your focus while recording video, and make sure you lock your white balance. This makes sure that your white balance isn't changing as you're filming your videos and leaves coloring your videos to be a lot more straightforward. Formats, most compatible or high efficiency. We want to be in most compatible because it's going to make our files a .mov, making it easier for Instagram to compress these files and ensure there is less quality loss. You can shoot 4K 24 FPS or 4K 30 FPS. Stylistically, it's up to you, but if you move to 60 FPS, your phone will automatically adjust to high efficiency, and then you'll have to compress it before you upload to Instagram again. All right, now we're gonna move on to the camera lenses. How good really are the new iPhone camera lenses? You've got wide, medium, and 2 telephoto options available to you on the Pro. From my experience, the 1X is unbelievable, especially with that 48 megapixel sensor. The ultra wide lens, on the other hand, is my favorite lens on this phone. I think it's just so much fun to go up and find cool perspectives like lookup shots or even far away shots that are just so much more expansive and can encompass a lot more of the environment that you're actually shooting in. And even with that extra macro control that allows for extra details that you might get that wouldn't have otherwise been possible on another phone that didn't have this as an option. But it does shoot only at that 12 megapixels. When it comes to the telephoto lenses of the iPhone, honestly, it's still really great. I know Short Stash actually shoots his photos using the telephoto lens, but when you really start getting into the extremes of the telephoto capabilities, there is a lot of like breaking of the photo, I'm gonna say, and there's like a lot of quality loss. So I would say to stick to the prescribed telephoto lens options available to you and don't go too extreme. This way you'll maximize the quality that you'll be able to get when shooting. Moving us to accessories, because if you're looking to level up your iPhone videos, there are 2 things that I think you should get. The first of which are the DJI mics. These are my go-to mobile microphones for my iPhone. They are super compact, coming in this case. They have a pluggable transmitter with a USB-C adapter now that we don't have the Lightning anymore, and are very high quality. I actually use these for interviews with my podcast we were shooting, and I am very happy with the audio. And the second thing is the DJI Osmo 6 gimbal. This is my go-to smartphone gimbal, and in all honesty is perfect for stabilizing your phone, creating incredible iPhone content, especially when I'm on client shoots. I'll use this as my stabilizer instead of a tripod, or using active stabilization mode because it brings your footage from 4K to 1080. This keeps it in 4K. You get some great smooth gimbal movements and really is a nice trick to level up what it is that you're shooting. And now finally is, what app do I actually recommend for editing your iPhone content in? Lightroom Mobile is undisputably my go-to for bringing all of my iPhone photos into Lightroom and making sure I can edit them on the fly, especially for editing raw like we talked about. If you have base presets already installed, you can just simply apply these on your photos and then stylistically adjust your photos the way that you want them so that you're not directly applying the presets, or if the presets don't work out of the gate, you can just make sure that you adjust your settings ever so slightly to get that look that you were wanting in the first place. And the best part about Lightroom Mobile is that it's literally a carbon copy in a lot of ways from what I would normally use of Lightroom Classic on my computer. So you're not really losing anything as a result of using it. If anything, you're gaining the functionality by it being portable. Really, Lightroom Mobile provides you with a professional quality level of editing tools that honestly shocked me that it's even available on a phone, let alone on a phone for free. But if you do pay for the subscription, you have the ability to sync up with the cloud so that the photos that you have on your computer actually line up with what you have on your phone, allowing you to adjust color and the balance of colors, the exposure levels, sharpening your photos, adding different effects to them, and just overall, when combining it with the iPhone's raw capture capabilities, leaving you with endless options for how it is you actually want to edit your content that you've natively shot on your phone in the first place, which is more than what anybody really should be asking for, which is literally the best thing ever. The final thing we need to talk about then is Apple's RAW video. Apple Log is arguably my favorite, most exciting feature that's come out this year, especially when you go into settings and you turn this on for your phone, you'll have the ability to toggle it on and off. Now, the best part about this is that if you are a videographer and you're a filmmaker, you'll know that if you shoot in flat picture profiles, which is what Apple Log is, that you generally have to shoot overexposed and constantly be metering the exposure. With Apple Log, it just natively comes out in the exposure that you're supposed to be using and then flattens the picture profile regardless, which is unbelievably easy and simple. All you need to do is make sure that you're locking your white balance so that it doesn't shift as you adjust your phone across your scene, and that will make color grading your footage so much easier. So make sure you're locking your white balance and not compensating for it. Otherwise, your color grading just won't work and you will never get the look that you're really looking for unless you're prepared to spend hours through the process, which is not the point. Which will take us to the end of today's video. This one was meant really just to show you the 101 of how to get the most out of your iPhone if you really are a beginner. If you're looking to level up your content with your iPhone, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what it is that you want to see from here. Otherwise, I will find ways to really bring in more information and depth to get the most out of your daily carry. So with that, I hope you enjoyed today's video and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.